Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickel is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Psychic Hour on WLTK-DB. Welcome. Today, we are doing the reading show. And so later on, you have a chance to get some of your questions felt out, viewed upon. That's how I see it. You know, we're not magicians, but we'll tell you what we get. We tell you what we receive. And sometimes there's very strong connections on these short radio shows, and sometimes there's descriptions, but they're from the heart. They're from a place of, integrity and love. And we always just do the best we can. That's how I always feel every show. So welcome. It's all things psychic. We do cover mediumship, but the readings are psychic based. With our numerology psychic, you might get a card pull. It might just be numerology. It might just be feelings and visions of what is downloaded. But that's how we work on the reading show. And so we always dive into topics at hand, whether it's things that are going on in people's lives, questions within their spiritual development, or just talking about what spiritual development means within one facet. So one of the inspirations for today is talking about energy and how we're responsible for our energy. And there's many different ways that we come into that knowing, because my goodness, as we grow older and more mature, we understand the multitude of our responsibilities and what we really can do, and what boundaries we put up, what strengths we have to lean into to be our greatest selves, right? We have to actually be really proactive in our responsibilities, because life is coming at us and we really have to manage our energy. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, excuse me, Tina. Thank you. So people are starting to pop their names down, because later in the show, that's how we take names. So who's ever there, we take them. And really, when it comes to being responsible for your energy, I think there's so much that we don't realize in life, right? It's true, but with energy. And so the more we develop, the more our awareness happens, the more we go, wow, that's connected to that. I wouldn't have known that. And in psychic connection and a mediumship connection, you're really aware of what is in the environment that is beyond just the physical. Absolutely. And we are all connected, honestly. Like with mediumship, a connection is just a heart away. The person's heart and the person's emotional connection will bring the spirit in, because people who love one another or have ties to one another, deep ties, are always around because they are connected from generational means, or they're connected through love and bonding means. And so when you're in your house and you're just like, whoa, bump in the night, right? It's probably honestly a loved one. It's probably honestly a guide there to help. There are other curious cases, don't get me wrong, but the heart connections and the blood ties are really keep people connected. And so they're all around you. They really are. And psychically, we are all connected. I really think that we are in some sorts, or maybe completely, a hive mind. I talk about that sometimes. We are so interconnected, and we all have the capabilities to different degrees to understand emotions, what people are thinking, what people's experience has been like. Just, I don't know in your own lives, but if you've ever bumped into somebody and you're like, wow, they feel like me, or I really like that person, or that person has good energy. Well, have you said that because they're nice, or have you said that because you're actually getting additional information consciously or subconsciously. Has your assertions and understandings of people over time, have they bode well for you? Was that person really like you, or did they really feel nice? Do you have good hunches on people, or good communication with animals or plants? Like, we're all connected to different streams of energy, some better than the others. We all have our talents. I'm really, really a big promoter of that. We are all psychic. We are all intuitive. It's just in what way. And if you have certain experiences where it doesn't validate that it connects to all of life, you might say, no, I'm not those things. But honestly, everyone is. Like, people who are mechanics, they're just really good with figuring out problems, right? Like, if that's their true passion and their mind is just naturally like that, you could know somebody that can, no matter what you throw at them, they're able to figure out a situation with a car or a computer. Like, they're just intuitive. Like, they don't have to read a manual to figure out what's going on. Or they'll try something that's contradictive to what most people would think, and it just works because they can see the energy of that situation. And it's not something that is logical. It's just they tinker around, they're creative, and ideas come to them in a very different way. And the more practical this is, and the more it doesn't have to do with like some of these esoteric thoughts, I think the more we can just rationally kind of just go, oh, I'm good at this, right? I'm just good at this. I just have a hunch on this. And really, that is an area of energy that we can work with. Thus, we can get things far beyond what just the problem, the issue, or the person is in front of us that is at face value. It goes so much more further than that. And I think we should really honor those things that we do have these talents in, and also nurture further talents. Whether you're kind of good at something, or maybe you want to work on something that you're like, wow, I really need to work on my people skills, or I really need to work on my health skills or my relationship skills. Do it, because it will only connect to the other things that you know, and it will help you. Like, if you have a head scratcher of experiences with people and you work on your intuition, oof, I'm a big proponent of your dating life becomes easier, your marriage becomes easier, your friends and family with relationships become easier. Um, Intuition and communication, so important. Think about it. How many times have someone said something and you're just like, what the hell did that mean? Goodness. But like, you felt what they meant. Or let's say maybe didn't feel it, but you think it, like, they couldn't possibly mean that. And it's true. Like, we're working with situations all day where not everyone means what they say, or there's these misunderstandings that are very frequent with some personality uh exchanges with certain people in your life. And the intuition helps guide the fluff, or the intuition helps guide the confusion to what people are really meaning or feeling. Now, we don't have you know well, just because you have intuition doesn't mean you're gonna be like, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. But there's moments where you will. Absolutely. And there's moments where you're like, I think there's something to that. And if you have some of that built up, you can just navigate it. And again, these big proponents that I share, I'm a big proponent of, if you build some of these skills up with with what personally fits within your own life, not because someone told you to. But when you build these skills up, what happens is, even if, let's say, you don't have, let's say, a lot of history or proficiency with the skill, I truly believe that since you've opened up that space, like with your brain and your energy, right? If something needs to happen in a jam, or like if you need help in a jam, right? The spirit world goes, great. They've worked with that. I can send them that sign. Hopefully they'll listen. Because I'm telling you, we're getting signs all day. And it's just a matter of, can we listen? Are we fluent? Are we coherent? The spirit world wants to help us all day long, but we really get in our own way and we look what's right in front of us. And really, They're communicating an energy foremost. They can transcend energy into the physical world and be like, you really need to pay attention to this. That's very possible because energy is in physical things. But the speed and the fluidity of most messages are on an energetic and very subtle level. And so we have to learn how to communicate. And so it really translates well once we understand this, how then it actually bleeds into our own life, because we start looking at others energetically, not just with spirit. We don't just start talking with spirit and thinking about the spirit world energetically and asking for signs and does this work? Does that work? We start looking at the world with this energetic overlay, and we start understanding, oh, it works here too. And it really does, because we are all energetic beings. We are all energetic beings, and energies and physical. And the energy created physical things. So energy is very powerful. It's like the etymology of what is physical. Like, you want to know the source, you want to know the origin. So if you're dealing with energy, you can really have powerful results with how you are handling the world around you. Like, if you know about your energy, because this discussion is all about being responsible for your energy and being more curious of how you can do that, with finding patterns, with understanding your sensitivities, because sensitivities are all about, oh, I got something kind of on the most subtle level. What is that? And allowing that to flourish so you can understand what that is, rather than going, oh, yeah, I got something, but I'm not sure what it is. There is always something beyond, I'm not sure. There is always, and it's just a matter of to what extent is that relevant within your life. It can't be all irrelevant, but some of it really will be more than others. So that's why I'm a big fan of getting things into your life. Like, if you are really empathetic, or an empath, or energy sensitive, or if you already have these experiences, or if you're just curious, like things like Reiki, great foundation, numerology, astrology, great foundation, because that is all training, and psychic development, mediumship development. It's all training and understanding energy in different ways. Now, it's good to dabble, because then you go, oh, okay, I had an experience like this, I have an experience like that. And you never know quite how the experiences are going to come to you, but like, play and be responsible for your energy. Oh, it's really important. It's really important. And once you have that open, again, if you need something in a jam, the spirit world goes, okay, I'm going to flash her a signal that person's not good to deal with. I'm going to flash them a signal. That's not the right job for you. I'm going to flash you a signal. Don't eat that. That's bad for your health. I would imagine everyone would appreciate messages like that all day long. I really, really, really would. I would imagine it would make life it would take the edge off of life just a bit. And all that stuff is very possible, but it doesn't happen at will. It doesn't happen necessarily within a year, but for people who are really devoted to understanding how everything works on a level where we're all connected, and sometimes it's not as personal, it's just energetic responses and where they come from. If you're working with this for 5-10 years, your life will be easier to a certain extent. I really feel like I can promise people that to a certain extent, your life will be easier, because you'll have pockets of navigation that are way more advanced with dealing with course corrections, or the most part I see within, people within their lives. Not everything, but they know when to stop themselves, and they know when something's like not a good idea. Now, I see a bunch of different people, like maybe they're excellent with their health, maybe they're excellent with they're protecting their family, but maybe like relationships, they're like, I have no idea how to protect myself in that category. Or certain people who are ace in relationships and they guide other people, but they don't know how to say no to food, or that's not good for them. Or they don't know how to, not be so empathetic to strangers, because they just want to help everybody. But let's say they're masters when it comes to technology and troubleshooting. Like, there's these streams of energy that just open up for the people further. But of course, we're all human. Not everything is covered. And I really like to think about energy like that. So there's always ways to improve and grow and strengthen and understand more. And it is a part of life that I feel truly needs to be honored in a way where you feel like if you have a slump, you go, okay, let me go back to my energy. And it's not so much always about patterns and development and energy play. It's about understanding how that's relevant to you. Okay. Life isn't personally happening to you in a way that people are meaning to do all these things to you or situations are meaning to happen other than your chart goes, I need to learn these things. And the way that you accept them or the way that you reject them, it comes back to how you understand consciously as a soul, how aware you are of your current decisions as a soul. And that's why I talk about this stuff from different angles because it's going to hit you in different ways and it's going to be needed for you in different ways. It's going to be relevant for you in very different ways. Spirituality to me is incredibly, incredibly practical. It's not just about readings, it's not just about meditation and feeling your soul or feeling spirit. For me, like it's every day. It's about being connected to myself. And then I can be connected to anything else I will choose or what comes my way. But the choice is very powerful in that. How do you choose to understand the world? How do you choose to understand yourself? How do you choose to navigate what comes to you? The world is very negative and positive with how it meets us. We can't always control it, but it has the potential for great positivity. And even if we get something negative, we can say, hey, well, that's life. Life is negative and positive. The world is made out of so many dichotomies. And I'm aware that while it's happening with me, it's not happening directly to me. And let's just put my energy into the situation and really understand what's going on and understand why I feel this way. So, being responsible for our energy. And it gets really, really technical the more we start to navigate and the more we start to have these aha moments. Because think about it. And then we're going to kind of go into readings. Think about it. When you understood that it was possible to see energy, hear energy, understood about past loved ones coming to you in dreams. There's people have so many different experiences and what that means to them. But you went, oh my gosh, this is real. What else is possible? Right? So when you open up the possibility, you open up your power. You open up your power for consciousness of what else can there possibly be and what else can we possibly do. And the world doesn't operate like this normally. So what could possibly happen if this started being infused, this knowledge, this wisdom into the everyday? My life would be quite different. Your life would be quite different. There's stuff that I'm always working on where I go, wow, if I just did this, my life would be quite different. Right? It's enthusiastic. It's exciting. We don't know what's going to happen to us, but we sure know that we can meet life with an elevated capability, elevated power, elevated confidence if we work with our energy. And we have to be dedicated, responsible, and focused for that. And sometimes it takes 20 years, sometimes it takes 40 years. But as long as you want it, as long as you need it, it will come into play how it can be utilized within your life. And it never hurts to be extra enthusiastic. That's how I look at it. I really, really do. Okay. So, hello, everybody. Tina, Kevin, La Portia. That's a really beautiful name, La Portia. Hello, everybody. We're going to dive into some readings and kind of how we bridge the gap is sometimes we take questions about what's going on in your life from an energy standpoint, from a spirituality standpoint, or from a development with your own skills standpoint. So if there's any questions like that, always look and then we dive in. Absolutely, LaPortia. Absolutely. So I'm going to drink some water and then we're going to go into readings. I'm extra thirsty right now, apparently. Okay. So from the top, we are going to go with Tina. I'm going to pull some cards for Tina. And if you want a reading as you come in to consent, just say, "Hey, I want a reading. Hey, I want a reading." And that lets me know that it's okay to go to your energy. It's always important like that for me. You can ask anything you want in conjunction, but it lets me know that you're on board. Okay, so we're going with Tina. Just pulling some cards. In the beginning, I take my time because that's how I just build my energy and focus. I think it's important to take your time, to not be in a rush with how you connect, how you feel, breathing. Don't rush it. Just know what's happening. Don't stall it. Don't rush it. Just know what's happening. That's my way of going. Hi, Christy. It's great to see you. And Kevin, thanks for saying hi. Hello, hello. Okay, so for Tina, what I'm getting is I got the card opening light, and that's all about our spiritual awareness and our enthusiasm. It's kind of like our morale in life and our understanding of how we can continue to open up, right? And stretch and be in our power. Kind of what we talked about actually just a moment ago. Um, and it's letting me know that you are kind of refocusing your mind and focusing more on your physical health. And if it's not health, it's definitely routine. Okay. So it's correlated, that's for sure. But it's connected to some type of routine that's better for you, or actually like physical health. Like I'm going to exercise and I'm going to try to meditate. So it's within that context, absolutely, about you taking this responsibility. It's really in the vein of what we talked about prior, for knowing like I work better like this. This is for me. And I'm seeing glimmers of it working completely. Like for instance, I know that this element is at play and it is being activated right now in your life. Like the the wellness or the change of routine. I know that's being enacted and I know that you see it as being helpful. Now, that opening light card that I talked about, that lets me know that like all the effects and what you're looking for to have out of that and the feeling that hasn't quite caught up yet. So it's like I have my motivation, but it's like, do I really have what I need? And I'm really hoping that there's a change and things will work and become more easier. So that's in play and it will. It's just like you have this in place, you have the foundation. Like foundation takes 4 months sometimes and then you go, "Ooh, I feel great. I feel great." So there's the acknowledgement from the spirit world I'm really feeling of like you're gonna feel this really rush of energy, like more physical vitality and more emotional perkiness, and that's coming up for you. So it's like just keep going, just keep laying down that foundation. And it's interesting. I got this card and it's all about, finding it's more about opening up the energy, right? And changing things for the better. And it's called Time for a New Hobby, okay? But it's in a placement where it makes me go, "Hmm." And so the placement kind of is talking about like don't overwhelm yourself and like let change happen at its own pace and really just like navigate how things feel within your wellness and feel within your change. Like I really like the change for you though. Like I think change is needed. It's just like that last thing of don't overwhelm yourself, because if there's too much change at once, it feels like, well, this isn't really working, or did I really want that, or do I even really like that? I tried it, but it wasn't a good fit. And actually, it might be a great fit. It's just the timing, right? If you feel stressed or tired or overwhelmed, I would take a break on some of the new routines and just like approach it a little bit more gently. And that's the biggest message that I'm seeing here. It's just like everything is going at its pace. You're making good decisions. It's just don't overthink that if the timing's not good, maybe the activity wasn't good or the intention behind the activity. Um, Pace it. That's what I'm seeing. I hope that makes sense, Tina. I don't know if you're still around. You were here at the beginning, but people pop in and pop out. So okay. Oh, it does. Okay, you're here. Wow. You were like lightning fast. You're lightning fast. Appreciated. It makes so much sense. Patience, as you say, keep moving and trying. Yeah, Tina, I just feel like there's this next energy wave that's like lifting off. Um, I feel like all these changes are going to ignite like more focus and understanding in career too. Cause you're fine where you are, but like once you get things in line, you won't be fine anymore. Or that subtlety of I want to change is really gonna heighten. So that comes into play. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So we're gonna go. I might be in a card mood today. Every day is different. Sometimes it's like more so feeling and seeing. Sometimes it's numerology, and sometimes it's cards. Okay. So Kevin. Kevin would like a general reading. Just feeling into the cards. Okay, we got go from there. Okay. Isn't that funny? So I always am a big fan of this, like talking about similar energies. So we got similar cards as I talked about prior, but they're in very different placements. Very, very different placements. So it's a completely different reading. And that's how it goes a lot. Like a lot of people come in with the same numbers, which uh, is really fascinating to me because people don't often have the same numbers. But when I'm doing shows, people come in with the same numbers like gangbusters, but it's always a different meaning, right? With what is going on with their individual energy. So, with Kevin, I'm going to acknowledge the same cards first so you can understand what I mean. I got the physical energy card as well as the time for a new hobby card. Now, I got the time for a new hobby card in a way where it was like all systems go. Like you have some extra time, like use it. Like you are a creative being, like go out there and just kind of mix it up and have fun. Like you shouldn't be doing the same old. And I know you know that, but it's just like actually doing it and like lighting more fire under you and trying things that you wouldn't try. Like I feel like you're very open-minded, but there's some things where you just go like, yeah, don't have a problem with it, but it's not for me. Like, mix it up. I'm really encouraging you to mix it up. I want you to do things you wanted to, don't get me wrong, but I actually think you would kind of like soar and have a lot of fun with like showing up to a class where you'd be like, I'd never do this in a million years, or I'd never be here unless like this person was here, like this friend that wanted to do this. And I feel like it kind of embraces the zaniness of life because I just feel like right now the need to laugh at life is really important. And I feel like you can kind of lead that for people sometimes, like lead people to like feel not so overwhelmed. I just feel like you're perceptive of people, and I feel like the need to laugh at life is really important right now. And if you're like cultivating the ridiculousness of life with like that leadership cavalier attitude, I just feel like what you can do for other people and for yourself just like exponentially just increases because like you're really living like, yeah, sure, I'll try it. Why not? Life is crazy. Like you're really living that. That comes in really strong for every reason. I hope that makes sense. And then like with the physical energy, that's a little bit like this is why I'm kind of talking about this on another level. I feel like the physical energy, I feel like there's been energy dips lately. And so the way that our physical body works, of course, like if we're physically tired, sometimes we're not getting sleep and food, but it works from another end too. Like if we're not having our needs met, like emotionally, or like let's say enough laughter, or only being the only one laughing, uh what happens is kind of starts to beat down our energy. And so I'm just aware that there just needs to be more excitement, and just a little bit more kind of course correcting in some of the self-care. I actually think you're doing good self-care right now, but I just need a little bit of tweaks. And if you can make a big emotional tweet with like just like trying new stuff and getting some new hobbies, trying it doesn't even have to be a hobby, it's just trying new stuff. I actually think that kind of revitalizes your body, and kind of stabilizes some of that hiccup immune system, because it gives you that zest for life. You know, our chakras are connected, and our chakras are spiritual, emotional, mental system. They're all connected to our physical body. So I'm saying it like that. I feel like you would get that explanation, Kevin, if I give it to you like that. And I feel like that's kind of coming up into play. They're really making me, what is this? They're showing me this like maroon that's on the card. It's a very bright maroon. And it makes me feel of something there. Reminds me of like a group of men or like a team. So it's either an ode to your group of guy friends, or a reference to your group of guy friends in the past, or something to do with family, right? A group of family, but they're guy friends. And they're flashing me this maroon, deep, like red color. And it's about like camaraderie, and how you had each other's backs and you'd go on adventures and stuff. And it's just like it's sometimes we got to ignite that energy and be the one to ignite that in others. And you get that kind of feeling again. I hope that makes sense. I think it would lead you to understanding that in some way. I wish I had that clearer, but hopefully, okay, you understand. Okay, good. Thank you. So it's like a message through that. Yeah. We're not meant to be solitary creatures. Go out and stir it up, and get people on board with the energy that you're bringing, or get people on board with like getting their zest for life up. That's what I'm getting you, Kevin. So thank you for understanding that. I really appreciate that. And for the last thing I'll say, because I completely ignored this card as I was talking to you, is I got the career and vocation card, which is really similar because, again, sometimes I pull cards and I go, well, how on earth does that fit? Because I wasn't looking there. And so there's some like reactivation with figuring out kind of like career of what you want to do with your time. What do you want to devote your time to, like a career that is really important for your heart and engaging your heart. When we have a career, we're devoting our energy 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. And it really cultivates a certain type of attitude. And it's just like, what kind of do you want to devote your energy to throughout the week? So sometimes it's not just about a hobby only, it's about a cause. So I want to give that to you with that. All right. Let's go. Christy. Hey. I like the wave she gave. I like it. Well, it's an emoji. Sometimes I wish I could see y'all live. You know what I mean? You got me saying y'all, Christy. I wish that, yeah. So fun when people are just like live. You are live with me, but I only get to see an icon. Okay. So Christy, reading. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Wow, everyone's getting the hobby card. What is going on? I don't like to pull the same stuff, but you got to surrender to the fact that that's the energy. You have to surrender. I remember when I first started reading, I would get similar signs. And I was a big fan of like the mentality back then, at least more so, of everyone's so different. I should be able to get very different types of evidence. But I would get like similar types of evidence and I would like try to ignore it sometimes because I'm like, I don't want to just be saying the same things. But that inhibited me sometimes, because I was overthinking it. But, I wouldn't want to talk about grandma's making cookies, but for whatever reason, that would be important. Or I wouldn't want to talk about sometimes where someone's couch was, and for whatever reason, it would be in a similar place, or certain symbols. Okay. So I felt like I'm talking about that, Christy, because that's relevant to you too, with understanding. It just is what it is. And it's crazy like that. Okay. So you got time for new hobby card. So I just got to acknowledge that. I don't think that's the most influential thing that I'm picking for you, but it's the acknowledgement to expand. Like when you find yourself back at home with a little bit more stability, it's kind of like adventure can be everywhere, you know? Adventure can be anywhere, even in your backyard. And adding this other layer to your life, because we shouldn't have such just simplicity purely. We should always make our lives simple, but we shouldn't have just simplicity clearly. It's funny how I say that. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So what comes in kind of the strongest is trusting what you have been cards shown or gifted. See, I'm not even reading it as I pull it until I read it with you live. So that's hilarious. The strongest card pull is the trusting what you have been heard, shown, and gifted. And I don't make this stuff up. So I was just talking about that through a anecdotal story with you. Okay. It's the blossoming of your abilities on another level, and just knowing like I'm supposed to be where I am. Okay. And I'm supposed to be saying the things that I'm saying. And not everyone's going to be on the same page as me. Not everyone's going to understand me. Not everyone's going to support me. And that could be even people closest to me. But I have to trust what I've been given, what I hear, shown, and been gifted. I have to trust that it's real. And the more that I fall into that, the more that this is going to strengthen. The more that I don't let that waver, everything that I'm working on is going to be strengthened. And there's going to be a time where I can share who I am so clearly that people just kind of go, yeah, I don't have any qualms with it. What you just said, it sounds crazy, but that makes sense. That sounds out there. But yeah, you should go do that. It's like the support system comes around, the understanding comes around, and your tribe comes around because you've been nurturing how you've been developing what even doesn't make 100% sense. Okay. So that really translates into friends and family as well as career. So just keep watering your flowers, keep watering your garden, your metaphoric spiritual self, and all of your goals, because you know where you're supposed to be. It doesn't matter what it looks like currently, because you know that's how energy works. We know something's coming. We know who we're supposed to be. That doesn't mean we're there next week or next year, but we know what we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do and what's real. And it just starts coming stronger into effect. So just trust. And I feel like that goes into the other card. It's like conjunct to, and it's the let it be known card. And this is all about confidence and self-expression and kind of having this unabashed way of living life. And it's basically like, this is what's going on because this is me. It's not about what's going on because you're comfortable with it. It's me. And like on the card, it's like Vini Vini Vici, right? So it's all about being a leader. It's all about having this fervor of I'm going to do this, and here I go. And you become like this figure. Okay. So it's a card that really dictates like coming into a responsibility where you're leading energy, but there's this period where you have to like flip the energy and just go, I'm on a mission. And here you go. This is what I'm going to say. And having the courage and the strength in that. So that comes in very strongly too as well. And I just feel like there's like a lot of changes, if you can understand, with like family right now. There might be minor changes, but I feel like there's just like a lot of things like shifting and stuff. And I just feel like that might be in connection, family in connection to like speaking your truth and not being afraid to just say what you feel, even though people don't understand it or would look at you kind of funny. I just feel like you're going in a new direction. So some of this stuff will be hashed out, but you kind of have to get messy first. And it's like energy comes at us. I said a moment ago, kind of future based sometimes. And we go, oh, I know this is upcoming. Well, this is who you will be ultimately. So you got to traverse those waters sometimes. So don't be afraid to mix it up because it's going to happen sometime, whether you like it to or not. It's going to eventually happen. Those ruffled feathers or those misunderstandings or those side eyes sometimes, uh, when you're ready, traverse the waters. And I feel like you're already entering that with stepping into just expanding yourself in ways where those situations would occur. Okay. Okay. So, Tina, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm glad that makes sense. And then anyone who's still around, you just drop down how that makes sense. Oh, Christy, cool. I love how people are so quick. Like, I'm such a slow typer, especially like when I'm like, oh, I just heard all that. And people are so fast. I'm very impressed always. Christy, spot on. Tentative book and coaching clients is about speaking our truth. Yes, yes. And I just feel like there's going to be expansion in your work. Um, as more unabashed, is that a word, unabashedly? As you are just like no holds bar, like this is what I'm offering, this is what I'm doing for people, and this is why it's so great. And people go, wow, like I like that fire. Like, you know, my husband's not sure what, coaching will do, but like that fire, like I feel like I need to pick up what you're throwing down. And I feel like other people around you, even personally, are just like, Christy's dynamic. This is what she does, right? And to just that energy is coming up, so that the the gifts and the pitfalls of that are coming up really strong. So you know where you're going. Okay. Okay. Let's see. La Portia. Let's take La Portia. Okay. Someone's catching my eye with a question. I think I'm gonna do La Portia next, but I want to answer the question that Vanessa just asked. She said, "Hi, hi Kelly. How can I work on remembering my dreams? I have a lot of communication interactions while I'm asleep, but I don't remember anything when I wake up. I get pieces throughout the day." It's a great question, and dreams are really important with spiritual development to me, because when you're using your brain giving a reading, the brain is going to register as you in deep meditation or asleep. So if you can start working with your dreams, your brain starts to understand how to work with the unconscious and the symbols that you're getting while you're asleep, how you're processing things, what things mean to you. Very, very, very powerful when you are developing your intuition. I highly recommend having a piece of paper or journal by your bed. And as soon as you wake up, whether it's in the middle of the night or whether it is right after you get up, literally, if you can, for 5 seconds or less, or the more the better, it's honestly, but if you can get like 5 seconds in, just scribble down what you experienced. So when I started like building that up and I try to be more consistent, there, not every day you wake up and you have all the time in the world, right? Or like not every day you wake up are you super coherent with everything that you remembered. But I would like squiggle like one word sometimes about what my dream was about. So if like I saw a guy in a red shirt like chasing me in the forest, I'd go red shirt. And so later on in my day, when I would see red shirt, like written down, or I would remember that I written down red shirt, whether through recall of just that word or coming back to it later in the day and actually physically seeing the paper, I would go, oh, can I recall my dream with just one word? And sometimes you can. Honestly, sometimes it just takes one word. It's easier if it's a sentence, or it's easier if you write down a bunch of key things, not even a sentence, because it takes kind of processing to go through the sentence. It's a little bit more logical. Just write down the key points that you remembered, like I felt scared, or I felt calm. There was water. There was an animal. There was this person that I know in the dream. The scenery changed. Okay. Write down whatever was visceral, absolutely, but write down some key things that were subtle, because it can flesh out remembering later if you have some key and subtle details. And if you do that every day, or if you do that multiple times a week, it doesn't have to be every day, but try to do it multiple times a week, your brain will start to develop a relationship with remembering. You can direct your brain saying, hey, I want to learn about this. I'm experiencing it. I just want to hold on to it. And you can train your brain to do that. But you have to have you have to bridge the gap from when you wake up to saying, I'm going to hold on to this into my waking hours. And so that's how you train and program. Another thing is the writing down really, really helps. But when you wake up, you can hold on again in your mind to like one key thing about the dream. So in your mind, you keep it, and then you kind of train yourself like in the middle of the day and at night to remember that dream. So throughout the day, instead of, let's say, writing it down, you reflect on your dream, and your brain starts to change too, because you're teaching your brain how to acknowledge that throughout the day of, oh, that's something I'd like to process, I'd like to think about. Because when we're awake, if something weird happens to us when we're awake, like someone says something funky to us, or there's a situation like, why would that person do that, or whatever, you're going to reflect on it later in your day, because you're like, what the heck was that? Well, if you teach yourself to do that with what you're dreaming about, it becomes very relevant, and it becomes something where you now are like, yeah, that was a really weird dream. What did that mean? And it takes you really deep into your psychology. It takes you really deep into how you process stuff. And it's incredibly beneficial if you can process your dreams. You will learn so much about yourself. You just have to start that process where you're able to hold on to it. So write it down, or make it a habit of reviewing your dreams every day, even if they're insignificant. Even if like you wake up and you're just like, I dreamt about a frog. I want you to think about or write down about the frog and just have a moment with that frog, because I promise you there's going to be a couple dreams where you go, oh yeah, I didn't hardly dream, or I dreamt about this. And as soon as you say I dreamt about, let's say, the red shirt, you go, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. But now I actually remember that red shirt, like I was in this like golden mystical city after I got out of the forest. And like my best friend from, 5 years ago was in the dream, and she told me this message. And so sometimes what you think is insignificant, especially when you're dealing with the unconscious or subconscious, all of a sudden you go, oh my goodness, I wouldn't have thought about that unless I wrote that down or I thought about it again. I wouldn't have thought about that at all. No. The last thing I'll say, because I'm very passionate about dreams, as you can see. But like just recently, I had a dream, and like I was in the house in the dream, and I had a friend in the house, and then all of a sudden I walk outside, and it's like pitch dark at night, and there's a shaman outside and he's like glowing neon blue and he has this tarantula in his hands and it turns into like this neon blue lobster. I'm just like, what is going on? Right. So it was a very weird dream, and I remember waking up from it, and I didn't have a lot of time that morning. I had to be actually up very early for work and be very it was just a busy day where my brain was immediately pulled into the day. But I woke up and I was well aware of I dreamt of that. I was just like, oh, that's weird. And then I didn't think about it at all because again, very long day. And then I decided to pull an oracle card that was on my phone because you can have apps with oracle cards. And I pulled a lobster within the oracle card deck, and all of a sudden it flashed. I got a flashback hardcore of how I woke up, and I was just like, oh, I completely forgot I had that dream, even though it was very visceral when I woke up, very visceral. So I went, wow, okay. And then it helps me think about that and process that because I actually would have let that go probably because I just wouldn't have thought about it because there's just so much stuff going on that day instead. So, very, very, very important to develop your brain to understand patterns and keys and what things mean to you because you'll be very easily stimulated with your recall the more you develop it. So, I hope that makes sense, Vanessa. Vanessa Lynn. Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Wow, cool that that card was your reminder. Thanks, Christy. Yeah, things I'm telling you, there's reminders all around us from the spirit world of who we are, what messages they want us to know, and they can come in more obvious places like a card, but correct, it triggers something that wasn't obvious in that moment of something that was really important. I still don't know 100% what that dream meant because it was so wacky, but I do know what it means to me in a large sense, and so you'll start to understand why things come in the way they do. Okay. All right. We're gonna go back to Portia. Portia. Okay. Man, they really want me to pull some more cards. Like I have a lot of cards in this deck. They're really making me utilize my own words. Um okay. So, LaPortia, I really do feel like it is a time where you're called to really activate what you really want in life. And sometimes we're not sure. And it's enough to think about, well, what can I have? It's enough to start dreaming. It's enough to start putting your mind on things it would rather have instead. So again, it's okay if things don't come to light, or it's okay if we're not shown that way. It's enough to start to think about it because you start stirring up your mind and going, yeah, I'll have a little bit of this, I'll have a little bit of that. And when it starts to stir and a little bit, it starts to show you how you can do that. So um it's just really important to talk about getting your mind in a place where you can dream, getting your mind in a place where you can wonder and have your imagination, because that's not just for fun stuff, it's for very practical stuff too. It's for the most practical stuff with friends and family and relationship and health. Like we can dream our way into better health, not because we're dreaming, it's because we are opening our mind to the possibility of something greater than what our current circumstance is. Because life can put our blinders on and going, no, you only have this. You can't think about anything else besides what's in front of you. So the invitation to dream, how funny is that? We're just talking about dreaming again. This is a very connected show. The invitation to dream and the invitation to really do feel like, so I got the family card for you, but I just feel like all this energy, like you're in this room and you're kind of like gearing yourself up and thinking about like kind of what you can do to have a better, whether it's family life or whether it's like just feeling like the house is more cohesive and feeling like you have a role where you feel like your purpose feels um of course meaningful, but feeling like it's like integrated well and feeling like you're waking up and feeling like things are integrated well within the home life. I feel like that's coming into play. And I just feel like the encouragement of you can call the shots. Um, I really feel like I get this feeling. I know this sounds funny, but there's something truly to it. I get this feeling of like there's in the room that I'm looking at, the shades are always like shut. The shades are always drawn or they're shut, or there's very little light coming in through the window, definitely. And I keep fixating on the shades. And it's just like you can choose to open up the shades and make that entire room feel different. Now, I say that in a metaphorical way. You can, if you want to do it actually too, as well, but it's like we get to choose what goes into our environment to a certain degree. And I just feel like I want to mix that up, like really, really, really want to mix that up. And if you can't change the whole house, I do feel like the energy of that room where you've been spending a lot of time, that energy really needs to change. Okay. And I feel like there's been like some grief in that room and just processing things within the family within that room. And so it's kind of like, how can we go forward step by step and kind of change things? And now's not the time to have all those answers, but we need to know that we can start to do that. Okay. And I just feel like it's important to talk about how you're feeling too. It's really, really important to talk about how you're feeling on the inside. I don't know if the support systems you have around you are the greatest, but if we can find outlets where you are just talking about things that are important to you and getting things out of your system, I think that's really, really important at this time. And we got to, find some of those things for you. Or with the few people that you trust, you can have some kind of roundabout discussions about how you feel about on things. Sometimes you don't have to spill your guts, but you can have roundabout discussions about that. I just the encouragement of getting things out of your system, and I feel like you know that. Like that's one of the things I feel like you've been working to do, but just more of that and mixing things up. Um, I feel like you have a lot of freedom and flexibility right now to change things more so than you give yourself credit for. So, I want you to remember your power and be thankful for like I feel like, your time management within your life has given you the ability right now where you can do a lot of things differently in a different way and to remember the blessing of that because a lot of things are option to you to change with some of the blessings that you have at this portion in your life, even though, correct, we're learning how to utilize that and celebrate that. And so I hope that makes sense, LaPortia. Okay, you understand. Okay. Yeah. Um, girl, put some light in that room. Put some light in that room and change where the bed is or something. We got to mix up the energy in the room, okay? So things are always changing. I feel like things were a little bit harder before and things are moving more into like a more open and positive direction. So embrace that and embrace the power that you have and the choices that you have because things can be phenomenally different as that's embraced. And so I'm going to give you that, LaPortia. Okay. All right. So, oh my gosh, we're at 2 o'clock. It's crazy. Okay, good, LaPortia. Thank you so much for understanding that. Thank you so much for understanding that. Let's see. Laura, I'm gonna pull a card for you before I go. And someone asked me about Lorraine. Lorraine, you gave me a very kind compliment. Thank you very much, Lorraine. I'm on quite often. And all you have to do is just say you want a reading, and that's how you get on the list. And there's many different people coming in from different places, um, like Facebook, YouTube, other streaming platforms. And so I just pull as I see it comes in, or I pull if I'm very drawn to a certain name. But you have to just say, I want a reading. And I hope that's helpful, Lorraine. Um, let's see, where were you? Where were you? Hey, Michael. It's Michael Christopher. Hey, he has a great show. No Agenda that has just debuted. Check it out. Talk about like spirituality, and they do readings on there as well. Oh my gosh. There you are, Lauren. Okay. Um, yes. If you happen to see a comment earlier, I didn't see the comment earlier. I'm gonna scroll up. I've been really struggling. Let me see if I can find your comment, Lauren. Lauren, let me see. I don't think see it unless this is a repeat of the same comment. Oh no. Okay. I think I saw your comment earlier, Lauren, but I believe it's just the same comment just up earlier. I'm just making sure I communicate what I'm seeing. And so let's just pull a couple cards, and we'll end on that note. Yeah, Todd's awesome, Kevin. I agree. He works so very hard. Absolutely, Lauren. Absolutely, Lauren. I only hope that what we're gonna pull is very relevant to you, and the intention is to help. Hmm. Okay. 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 All right. So they're giving me a phrase that it's all connected. It's all connected. And so I'm pulling some cards to understand how it is all connected. Okay. So I'm getting the cards that I got with the phrase it's all connected. I got the wealth and finance card and the spiritual force card. And it just makes me feel like there's been like a series of mishaps where it just feels like direction is really like question marked right now. But really nice thing to see first off the bat is I'm getting a lot of, so I have blank cards within the deck, and they mean things to me. And when I see blank cards, it means that people have choices and people have powers, that they, even though there's bad situations at hand and confusing situations at hand where they literally don't know what to do, that there are options within their power to make things easier for themselves, or there's power in one portion of the problem, if not power in the other portion. I hope that makes sense. So it's kind of letting me know that there is a chance to get help. There is a chance to get help and feel like your spiritual fire is back, to feel like your motivation is back, to feel like, um, you do have some of that clarity where it's not just all over the place. And I do feel like it's just a matter of time to get things back online. This is like kind of like healing doesn't happen overnight. It's kind of like things are coming back slowly but surely, even if they don't look that way, slowly but surely, slowly but surely. And this is me describing the energy, Lauren. I hope it makes sense. And it's inviting you. I don't feel like this is the time to do it, but it's inviting you to really get out and continue to understand that life is inviting you to try the next thing, to do the next thing, to heal your heart, to understand and make sense of all this. And so it is a very much an invitation to activate new energy, and it's an invitation and a reminder of gratitude and honestly, with all the time that is available, I feel like eventually you could actually help others with what you have gone through. now's not the time for that because there's a lot of things rectifying, but you have a lot of power and options to actually help people eventually with things similar that you have gone through. That comes up. I really do feel like refocusing the mind is really important. So like meditation and I got the card of meditation and career. Again, not sure what that is in connection to. Sometimes I go, but it lets me know that there has to be some type of devotion routine. And I do feel like if it's not you, it's someone who close to you that like is in wellness and owns a business. And then just the reminder of to use the resources. It's like use everything you have, whether you're building it or someone you have knowing has some of these resources, use everything you have to prop you back up to being in a place where things make more sense again. And that's how I'm feeling. It's like use everything at your disposal and say, "Thank you, universe. I can choose this." Or, ask the universe to show you of what you can do if you're like, "I have no idea." Like, cuz I just feel like as soon as that gets enacted, we get all these like, "Wow, okay, it's hard right now, but I can do that and I can do that. And that's an option to me. And that's an option to me." Like I'm getting that energy. So it's like help is right around the corner, but we have to kind of give our faith back into the equation of saying what is possible. And from what I'm pulling for you, honestly, a lot is possible. And the more you come into that faith again, of it's right around the corner, the more you actually start to see that. So there's like a lot, I actually see like a lot of gifts and possibilities for you popping up. I don't know if you feel that right now, but you got some good, really strong cards in that. Like where the it's like either money is a-okay or there's just an easy rebound with it. It just lets me know that your needs can be met and taken care of. Okay. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, that's for Lauren Joy. And that was the last reading. Oh, I just clicked something. What did I just click? That was the last reading. Okay, for today. We will be back though. Always back. I want to send love to everybody today. Lauren's saying, "I'm sitting in the thick of things and everything you're saying." Okay, you understand that. Thank you. Is there a way to set up continual reading with hey, reach out to me. Reach out to me on I'm at kellybrickel.com or through like my social media. Just reach out to me and yeah, if you have any questions, just reach out and we'll do it like that. So with that said, please everybody just continue to learn about your energy because there's so much going on and we have so many skills and talents and everything just becomes a little bit more brighter when we understand that the connections go so much deeper and we are also connected so we really can influence and change what's around us. With that said, I'd like to leave you with love, luck, light, and laughter. And don't forget to live, everybody. See you on Friday for the interview series in a few. See you soon. Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.